When most people want to lose body fat, what they'll do is they'll head over to Google or head over to YouTube and type in how to lose weight. So what they'll find is maybe some advice to do some cardio, eat in a calorie deficit. They'll combine the two and they'll go into quite a big calorie deficit because the calorie deficits that are recommended are usually quite big, and you'll get a bit carried away at this point because you'll think the more is better. And the faster you do it, obviously the better. The faster you do it, the faster you get results, and the faster you can lose your fat. The problem here is you'll lose a lot of weight during this. That's not a problem, but you'll lose a lot of muscle in the process as well, which means by the end of this, you'll end up with a body that is skinny fat. And if you're here watching this video, it's likely that's something you wanted to avoid or you want to avoid in the future. What will happen then is you'll end up, like I said, you'll have lost the weight. Then you may have tendencies to put it back on. And if you put it back on, you're going to put on mostly fat. And then if you go in cycles of losing it, put it back on, losing it, putting it back on, you're going to end up with a physique. You could be happy with this, I'm not sure, but that is skinny fat. You're going to end up just staying skinny fat. The main reason here is because you've lost a lot of muscle and you're now under-muscled and you still have fat in places you probably don't want it, or you just have just a bit of leftover body fat. Over time, it will be harder and harder to lose body fat, and what can happen is you can actually create metabolic adaptations due to lost muscle, and your BMR, your basic metabolic rate, basically the amount of calories you're burning at rest, will go down. The first thing you want to be doing is doing resistance training. Without resistance training, you will not build much muscle. So even if you are doing resistance training, you might be saying, wait, I'm doing resistance training. You might actually be doing it wrong. Doing it in a way that you're not going to build noticeable muscle. You've got to ask yourself this: has my training, have my lifts improved over, let's say, the last month, the last few weeks? How has that been going? Is there any improvement? If the answer is no, or I don't know, and you haven't been tracking, then you need to start tracking your workouts. You need to make sure they're progressing. You need to make sure you're doing resistance training at least 3 to 4 times a week, and that is a progressive plan you're following. You want to be training each muscle group between 2 to 3 times a week to optimize muscle growth. And those sessions will probably last between 45 minutes and an hour. They could last a bit longer to begin with, but roughly within that time frame. Nutrition-wise, you want to be eating either at maintenance calories or a slight deficit, depending on how much body fat you got to lose and depending on your training experience. I've done videos before on body recomposition. You might be able to achieve a body recomposition, but if not, at least I would suggest anyway starting at maintenance calories. And when you start at maintenance calories and you're lifting with resistance, you're going to build muscle. Your physique is going to change. It's going to change significantly, especially if you're new to training. You can take advantage, new to resistance training even, take advantage of this. So nutrition wise, again, protein, you want to keep relatively high. You want to be eating 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. If you weigh a lot, I've said this before, you want to do your goal body weight in pounds times by 1, just for ease sake. And that will give you how much protein you need to be having in one day. So if you follow this advice and stick with it, you will, first of all, fix your skinny fat. If you're currently skinny fat, the resistance training will fix it. Secondly, you will avoid it if you haven't started your journey yet and you're scared because you don't want to end up skinny fat. So if you follow these instructions, you'll end up there. And you can watch any of my other videos I've done on body recomposition, which gives you a similar approach to building muscle and losing body fat as well. And if you've got any questions at all, drop them below. This was a very short video, but I want to say to you that it's avoidable. You can avoid skinny fat. It's not an inevitable byproduct of losing weight. You can avoid it. If you've got any questions, like I said, comment below. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button, click that subscribe button now, hit that like button. And until the next video, keep pushing those limits.